Good morning. On this Wednesday morning, no, Thursday morning, Thursday morning, May 3rd. Janisa, welcome this morning. Sorry for the unexpected gap in our devotions yesterday morning. I had actually planned not to have it, our time together, because I had an early morning doctor appointment down in Sacramento, but I forgot to tell you. Lori Agassi, good morning. Dana Kreshock, Barbara Richardson, good morning, everyone. So I apologize for that. So glad to be back this morning. Everything went well. Jeremy and Wendy, good to see you. There's my mom, good morning. Grateful everybody's able to find the live stream this morning. Jan Akins, good morning. Yeah, some have said that Facebook notifications are kind of hit and miss. Sometimes, your phone pings when the live stream happens and you're able to find it right away, and some express a little bit of frustration trying to find where the live stream is on a day-to-day. So that's a Facebook thing. I have no idea why. I wish it were easier than that. But I'm grateful for everyone that's here this morning, and welcome everyone here at 7 a.m. And also, I just keep wanting to be reminded to acknowledge and be grateful for all of you who join later. A lot of people don't see this live. They watch this morning devotion later in the morning or in the evening. And so grateful for all of you who are participating. Carmen, good to see you this morning. Welcome. So I wasn't in Psalms this morning. I have, for the last couple of days, been journaling about a particular theme that God continues to remind me of in my life. And I wish it were a theme that I could just learn and then be okay with it the rest of my life, but it's something I have to relearn and relearn and relearn. And that is the relinquishment of my self-will. And at its heart, it's the phrase that Jesus said in the Garden of Gethsemane, when Jesus' entire life had relinquished his own will to the Father's will. When he took on flesh and lived out the plan of God that demonstrated who God is to mankind, took on flesh so that I could identify with us and us with him, to take on the sins of the world, to live a perfect life, to be the perfect sacrifice on the cross. All these things were a part of God's plan, and the gospel writer John makes a pretty big deal about this. How many times John includes Jesus' statements throughout his ministry that he's not doing anything that God hasn't directed him to do. His words are God's. He's working because God is working. All my words are from God. I don't do anything except what God is telling me to do. And it's interesting, at the end of the gospel in the Garden of Gethsemane, faced with the terrible proposition of taking on the sin of mankind, Jesus prays this prayer, hey, if there's any other way around this, that'd be great. And but he says, in the end, Lord, I want your will to be done, not mine. Your will is good. Your will is what needs to take place, and I am a part of that plan. I'm working in conjunction with, in alignment to your will. And this idea of relinquishing my will to God's will is so hard. I have my own plans. I have my own desires. And when those plans and desires are thwarted or they don't come to fruition, I get disappointed and I look for someone to blame, and I get agitated about it, right? So this idea of relinquishing my self-will to God's will is a sense of openness, being open to what God has for me today, in the moment to moment. And that includes changes of plans and disappointments and people letting you down, or something happens that is very hard. And I don't really want to deal with that today. I have to deal with a grief, a loss, an extraordinary pressure, or so on. Another verse that comes to mind with regard to this is in Proverbs 16:9. We used to have this proverb written on the walls on either side of the stage in the worship center at the church building. Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." And so we have this, we have our will, and we make plans, we have set goals, we work hard to achieve those goals, and that's all good, but we have to continue to relinquish those to the plan of God. God's plan represents reality. If we have trouble adjusting to reality, God ultimately is directing our steps. God allows things to come into our life on a day-to-day basis that either we have to fight against and get angry and agitated, or we can relinquish our will to and be open to understand God's will, and to allow our heart to be open rather than be attached to a particular outcome, to a goal, or something that how we want people to act, or how we want an outcome to a desire that we have. And this is something obviously all of us can relate to. We struggle with this. We've talked so many times about 2020 being, the reality of the world, the predicament of the world kind of pressing on us, that we had to change everything. We had to give up certain things and freedoms, and none of us really dealt with that well. I mean, I didn't. But we had to deal with it because it was with reality. It was reality. We didn't, not that we have to agree or about it or anything, but that's life, right? I can disagree that what is happening in my life is really for with my best interests, right? But that's a lot of life. That's driving down the road and someone cuts you off. Well, that wasn't in alignment with my self-will. That wasn't in alignment with what I thought was best for me. But it just happens. Reality happens. And so being able to align our expectations to reality, to what actually is happening, which is ultimately what God's will is. God's will can't be thwarted. He is carrying out his will, which ultimately will bring all things in subjection to Christ. That Jesus will rule and reign, ultimately, in the end, having laid down his life for the redemption of mankind. He offers a way of salvation to everyone. We place our faith in him, and now we are aligning our life to his will as he carries it out on earth, which includes God's will includes allowing evil to touch our lives. God's will includes what feels like the thwarting of our own plans in life, the brokenness of relationships, loss, grief, economic failure, and little disappointments. And so what does this look like on a day-to-day? I'll give you two examples from my own life that are just small. We think about major things, but really it's a day-to-day constant decision. So we'll talk about openness to God's will. I love routines. I love making plans. I love setting goals. But I can be possessive about these things. I don't like it when my plans get changed because I love routines. They're a place of comfort for me, right? I have this sense of control when I can plan out my day. And so I was on a run. This is some months ago. I was on a run and I was in prayer, really enjoying the moment. And it happened to be a particular subject of my prayers that I was actually praying, Lord, I'm just handing my will, my life over to you afresh today. I want you to direct my steps. I want to be open to what you want for me to do. I have a plan today. I have a bunch of stuff I want to do. I have a routine. I've kind of laid it out already. That's how I that's kind of how I'm wired. But God, if you want to disrupt that, I'm okay. That was the source of my prayer. While on that run praying, I happened to run into an acquaintance. That an acquaintance in a sense of we have mutual friends, and I was just happy I remembered her name. That she was walking, and I stopped. I said hello, and my intention was to say hello and then exchange a couple informalities, and then I would be right back on my run and enjoying my prayer and so on. But it happened that that person was on a walk processing a big decision in their life, and they happened to share that they were really struggling with this decision. And so I asked a couple of follow-up questions about the decision, and that didn't feel too personal. And they really opened up in that moment. And all of a sudden, my whole morning routine got thrown off. But it was this beautiful moment where, to a relative stranger, I mean, I knew this person, but I don't know them well, opened up their heart to me in that moment. And I did something very out of character for me. This is something more in character for Martha. I said, you know what? Can I pray for you? Can I pray for you right now? I am way too introverted to do that in real life very much. But on that morning, because I was so open, it's like, God, I want you to use me. I'm going to just take this step of faith that this is going to be okay. I wasn't even sure this person was a believer. In fact, I'm sure that they weren't. And they said, yeah, I would really like that, actually. And so I stopped and I prayed for this person in that moment. And I wish that I could say I have experiences like that all the time. But in reality, when I'm out in public, especially in a store or something, I have tasks I'm trying to accomplish. I got a routine. I am on the hunt. I'm only getting the things I need. I'm in, out with the most efficient way as possible. If I see someone I know and I'm, on a mission, I'm going to avoid that person. And I don't hate that about myself, but it is limiting to have that mindset, but to be more open about what God has for me, to be open to these small disruptions could be also openness to God working in and through us in ways that are wonderful and beautiful. And the second example I want to give is handling disappointment. I don't handle disappointment well. And yesterday we went to, the reason I missed the live stream yesterday is I had an early morning doctor appointment in Sacramento, and we had to leave the house at 6:30 in the morning, and so we were on the road during the time I would have normally live streamed. I meant to say it, but I didn't. Apologize. Anyway, we had three things we wanted to do. Martha and I driving together. I had to go to the doctor. We wanted to eat breakfast together, enjoy that time, and also we wanted to stop by this landscaping rock yard off of 16 near Bradshaw, because we wanted to buy some stepping stones for a project we have in the backyard. And so after the doctor appointment, we were driving home and trying to determine, do you want to go to breakfast first or after? And we were making this plan. We made plans to have breakfast after. Well, time at the rock place took longer. And we had to be back in Jackson by a certain time. And so it became a reality on our drive, as we continued our drive home, that we were going to have to go without breakfast. And I got irritated. Like, man, I knew it. I knew we should have eaten first. Before we went to the rock place, I started to get upset about it, and not upset, but irritated. Where Martha was picking up on it. She goes, I feel like you're angry at me. I'm like, so relinquishing our will to God's will, so our will to reality, is being able to adjust and have openness to when our plans change. And for me, I had to walk through that with Martha because it was affecting our relationship. And I said, Martha, no, I am disappointed, and I'm going to feel my disappointment, and that's okay. It'll pass. But I want you to know I don't blame you. We made the decision together that we were going to have breakfast after. You're not to blame. It took longer making decisions at this rock place than we anticipated, and that's just reality. And it's okay. I'm hungry. I'm a little irritated that I'm not going to have breakfast. Breakfast was one of my favorite meals, but it's okay. I will survive. we're just going to move on to lunch. We'll have lunch plans. And which was separate, but anyway, it's also being open to disappointment, feeling disappointment, resisting placing blame, and moving toward an openness to the reality of God's will unfolding, even in those little irritations of our day. So today, I want to be open to God's will. I want to and relinquish the possessiveness I have over my will and what I want my day to look like. And so I just want to throw that out there. I'm not really good at this. I have to relearn it all the time. Then that's okay. God's doing his work. And so today afresh, and during this season, the last couple of weeks in particular, I know God's been pressing on my heart on this. So I just offer that to you today. I'm working on it, relinquishing my will to God's will, so that I can be an open vessel to be used by him today to minister to others and to enjoy just an open-handed relinquishment of possessiveness of my life and my things and my routines and my goals. And I want God's will to be done. And so I'm open to those things today. So Lord bless you. Today's Thursday, so this is the last live stream of the week. We'll see you on Sunday, if not on Monday morning. God bless.